Welcome in this course about the King's Indian defense. This is Angelo Kesaris, and here I'm going to do a list with videos on the King's Indian defense. What this is, amazing system. I'm going to play stupid moves with the white in order to understand the setup. Black can play the move knight f6, and after this we can play g6 and bishop on g7. This is called fianchetto. Fianchetto means the sword wind here. It's an Italian word. We are going to play the bishop there, and we will have a lot of security on the king's side because we are going to castle. Then we are going to play something like d6, castling, and last but not least we need this move e5. This e5 move characterized on the King's Indian defense. I will have a list here. You can see the list on YouTube. I have a detailed article on my website, and I'm going to create a course in order to go deeper and deeper in this amazing system. And now let's see in this first introduction video what we can do. People love this King's Indian defense so much, and they can start the game after the move e4. They play something like g6, the modern defense, with the idea to fianchetto the bishop and to do a similar setup, or to play the pirc or pirt defense with the move d6. We try to reach the King's Indian defense with different move orders actually, but it's not that effective against e4 as the d4 move, because white he didn't commit himself to take a lot of space in the center actually, but at some point they can transpose, and the ideas remain approximately the same in all of these systems: modern defense, pirt defense, and King's Indian. Now, of course, we can reach this opening actually in many different systems. For example, if white can play something like c4, the English defense, we can do exactly the same. We can play this one, and after this we can play d6. He's going to play something like this, and we're playing d6 to stop this idea, e5, and then again we can play this move, this setup, castling, and later to play the move e5. Can we do it with the white pieces? Yes, we can do it. For example, I'm going to flip the board. We can start the game with knight f3, for example, and now fianchetto our bishop. It's exactly the same position with reverse colors, and he can play something like this, castling. We can play d6, and later after the move e5 we have this tabia of the King's Indian attack here, because we have the white pieces, we are attacking. And in order to play this move e4, it's a little more difficult here because it's playable, we can do that, but usually white players do this something like the rat defense. We're going to see this variation later, to play knight e2 first, and after this e4 in order to keep the queens on the board. So you can choose this system with the white pieces. Now let's go forward. After this move knight here, I'm going to talk to you about the main characteristics. The three systems that they are like cousins, very close to each other. It is the King's Indian defense, Benoni, and Benko. Very close systems, and you need to learn ideas about them in order to be more flexible and know what to do with the black pieces. For example, here after the move e6, now we didn't decide yet which system we're going to play. This is a very popular system in order to start the game, and after knight here, for example, we have the Nimzo Indian defense with bishop on b4. This is the Nimzo Indian defense. Or we can play here the move c5. The move c5 characterizes the Benoni systems, because you can play something like this. We can take, we can play d6, and this is the Benoni system. We can fianchetto the bishop and do these things. What we would like to do on the Benoni, we would like to play the move b5 here at some point. It's not very easy to do this move actually, white is going to stop it, but this is one of the main ideas, to play the move b5. How can we do it actually? How we can play b5? We can play, for example, here the move c5, and after the move d5 we are not going to play e6 transposing to the Benoni, but we can play the move b5 immediately. b5, this is the bank opening. And here we're going to say, oh, I know this opening with a different name. And we're going to say, oh, we don't care, because names are different in chess. We will have many different openings according to the source we are learning something, for example. And we have a very big land from Argentina, for example, to Canada. If you grab all this land, turn it around and stretch it a little bit, and put it inside Russia, it's approximately the same. So Russia is a very big area, very, very big area. Inside there is a river, the river called Volga. Next to this river, we have a coffee shop. And inside this coffee shop, two old guys with white hairs actually used to play this Bengo Gambit, and all the Russian people call it as Volga Gambit. It's okay. Personally, I can call it something like Rubicon River in English, Rubicon River, because if you cross it, you cannot turn it back. And if you give this pawn, because on Bengo Gambit or Volga Gambit, you are going to give this pawn. You are not going to take back this pawn. It's a crucial decision. If you take it, you cannot go back. You're going to checkmate the enemy king, okay, but you are not going to take back the pawn. This is what I'm telling you here about the Bengo Gambit. And I'd like to say something else now, because we are separating these systems. With the move c5, usually we have the Benoni. With the move b5, we have the Bengo, and with the move e5, we have the King's Indian defense. And here white actually, at some point, they're not going to play c4 immediately. They can play another move, knight f3. I play this move, I like it, and I can call it Benoni killer, this move, because it's characterized and played against these systems actually. It's very difficult for black to play this ambitious opening. c5, okay, we can do that, and after d5, many players here, many players do this mistake, I can say, the move e6. And here, of course, white can transpose, they can play the move c4, and we can go to normal Benoni, but some people say, why to do that? I can play more aggressively, and I can play the move knight on c3, developing the pieces right now, and this is very critical now for black. For example, you can see how things can go wrong, and here I'm going to show you how to play with the black and white pieces. Try to be objective actually. I'm not going to say this is winning, this is losing. I'm going to tell you how to understand the openings and how to play good chess, and many people do this with the black pieces, and I'm winning a lot of games because they would like to play the Benoni opening, and they are mixing something here. For example, they can take. If you don't take, what we're going to do, we can play this one, we can play this maneuver, try to do something like Smith Benoni, and this is an amazing position for white. We're going to do another course about the Benoni. I'm going to explain things there, but here things can go wrong after this take, for example. If you play normal moves, for example, if you play something like d6, I'm not going to play, I play something like d6. White have a very nice move here, extremely good, 2 exclamation marks, and this move is e4. You cannot take the pawn, because if you just capture the pawn, he has this move. You cannot play the queen there, you cannot play things like e5, because we have other things like this one, knight d2, f3 at some point. You're going to lose here, you're going to lose this knight. It's not good to play, to capture that pawn on e4. So black players usually here they don't play normal moves, they try to capture, and now again they try to play something normal, something like this, and after knight g5, gloop, what you're going to do? White is threatening checkmate right now to take on f7, scholar checkmate. What you're going to do? Maybe something like this, and after f3, c3, try to kill this knight actually. Bishop here is coming, long castling is coming, e4 is coming. Some squares here are weak. This d6, d7 pawn is backward. It's not good position for black, this one. You should not play this. And many players do this actually. I face this a lot on internet. And if you are not going to play a normal move, what you're going to do? People came up with bishop on e7. I'm going to stop this one, but the knight can come from here, right? And we can play bishop there, we can castling, we can play e4 for example, and your backward pawn is remaining. And this system actually, I used to play another system, the knight door variation on the Sicilian defense, and it reminds me a lot of these systems, and we didn't play something good here, because he already is here, we cannot capture this pawn, something went wrong for the black pieces in this position, so we should not play like this. This is a very interesting move. And do you have any solution about that? What I'm going to play here, and I have a solution for you here, and the solution called I have lessons inside the Benko Gambit. I created a course about the Benko Gambit, and here I suggest you the move b5, very ambitious system actually, very ambitious system to fight b5, and after bishop on g5, here I suggest you two moves, two different variations. One of them is knight to e4, because here he can choose knight f4 or bishop there. You can check everything inside the Benko Gambit. Or I gave you another variation, queen on b6 actually, another interesting way to fight. But it is a difficult variation, this one, difficult variation. And here, instead of this, all of these side lines, usually white is going to play the move c4, and here we're going to play the move g6, and after knight c3 we're again in a crossroad here, because we need to choose. If we would like to play in the center of the board, we can play this Grunfeld defense, play something like d5. It is resemble of opposite, reversed, the Catalan opening, this one, Catalan opening, which I like it a lot, because I understand the positions on the Grunfeld defense. I used to play the Grunfeld defense as well. I used to play King's Indian defense, so I understand this position, and I play the Catalan with the white pieces. This is the way how to fix your repertoire actually here. Here you can choose, you can play the Grunfeld defense, or you can go on the King's Indian defense, because after this move, white is going to play e4, and now you don't have the opportunity to play d5 anymore. And after the move d6, now we are in a crossroad here. We are in a crossroad, and we can choose. We have some sublines from white. The main line is knight f3, but before knight f3 he has other lines. For example, he has this Averbach system. And you're going to say, what he's going to play to bishop e2, I'm going to castle. And after this, I'm going to play blindly the King's Indian defense. And after this, you're going to lose actually, because he can take here, we need to take, a knight to d5, and suddenly he's attacking here and there. So we are losing material. This Averbach system, characterized after this move, try to stop this King's Indian defense setup. He's going to stop this one. But what we're going to do here, we can castle and we can play c5. Or we can play other moves like knight d2. You need to be careful. Don't close your eyes and play automatically. Another system that white can play is knight d2. Kramer variation, if I announce him correctly. What is the idea behind this move? Very, very dangerous system. He would like to keep open this diagonal. He would like to play knight here, h4, h5, and try to attack. It's very dangerous if you don't know what to do. Already inside the course on the King's Indian defense, I prepared lessons on how to play against this setup. Not many players play this one. It's not very popular actually, but it's dangerous. You need to know. Another system, one of my favorites, I used to play this with the white pieces a lot, and I managed to win a lot of strong opponents with this system. International Masters, I won with this system. f3. The idea of this Zemi system, f3, is to put the pieces like this and start the attacking like that. And this system became very, very popular in 50s actually, because at that time people start to building homes one next to another, and this inspired chess players to create these very long pawn structures actually, to put the pieces here one pawn after the other, create this very long pawn structure, and people motivated about that. But the main idea behind the Zemi system is to do this one. You are closing the position of the knight. Yes, indeed, this knight don't have very good squares right now, because we can play something like the Kramer variation later, or we are going to see what we are going to do with this knight. But first we need to develop our pieces like this, and maybe castling alongside at some point. Next system is the Makagorov system. The idea is to stop any pin here and to play this move g4. He would like to put this pawn on g4 because one of the main strategies that black has is to play this f5 move. Black would like to play this f5 move, and white is going to stop this one by playing g4, try to fight against this one. And I have this series actually. I'm going to create approximately 15-16 videos on the King's Indian defense. You're going to see what's happening there. And if I'm not mistaken, I have a game that Daniel Dubov played 2024 very recently, 1 month ago, with this system, with the black pieces, and he played c5 here and b5, try to play something like Benko. For that reason I told you these systems are very, very connected King's Indian defense, Benoni and Bengo, they are very close and we can mixed ideas actually. And the last but not least, in these sublines we have this 4-pawn attack. I have some variations, some moves here that Fischer played against it. And I didn't tell you to my Greek video actually, but here Fischer used to castling actually, inviting the other player, after castling for example, to play something like e5. And after this he plays something like this and play that one, inviting other player to go on the 4-pawn attack because he would like to counter attack. This system, this King's Indian defense, is hyper modern system, inviting white to take a lot of space, and after this we're attacking. And it's very difficult for white. I play these positions with the white pieces. It's very difficult for white to control the situation. And in blitz systems, in rapid and blitz time control, actually, it's very difficult for white to handle everything. Even if the computer say that white has a huge plus, +1, +2, it's not very easy to prove it because the theory is going to end at some point and you're going to counterattack. It's very easy for white to lose the control. It's more practical to play with the black pieces. We have the system 4-pawn attacks, and now let's continue with knight f3. He's going to castle here, bishop e2. You see, very easy to mix the lines because on Averbach system we didn't develop that knight. Play bishop e2 immediately and bishop on g5. It's different system. And here we can play the move e5 because he didn't pin us yet. This is the main move. How can we avoid this one? We can play another system like the rat defense. Rat defense characterized a little later actually with the move e5, but we can play it here. As I told you in the very early on this video, we can play the King's Indian defense with the white pieces. And in order to avoid the exchange of the queens, we can play this move here, and after this to play the move e5 or c5. We're going to choose later what we're going to play, knight d2. But the main line is e5, and this is one of the black's strategies. Black strategy is to attack this square on e4. I'm going to do another video about these traps actually in Kotov system, how to attack this d4 pawn immediately, how to pin this knight, to play this, how to play this provocative, this is the word, provocative word on bishop on g4, and then try to do later something on e4. It's an interesting system. We're going to see about that in another video, but here the move e5, the strategy is to do something about the d4 square. We are asking a question, what are you going to do with this d4 move? And here white has some options. One option is to play forward, another one is to take, and another one is to maintain the pressure. Let's see. Here white has some options. This is the d5 move, the Petrosian variation. Petrosian was an ex-world chess champion, and he used to play this system actually, and with his system he managed to feed his family, and he used to say, King's Indian defense, I love this system because I play d5 and I can win very easily about this d5 move. And he managed to do it actually. He managed to win a lot of games with this positional move, and we are going to learn how to play against this positional system. Another system here underestimated is this exchange variation. And my friend Nicolas Tapelenis is approximately 2100s actually. He used to win a lot of players here below of 2000 rating, FIDE rating I mean, on Athens. He played in these tournaments, very practical system, and he used to win a lot of games. He saw me a lot of games, and this system has some venom. Black can equalize according to the computer, but it is against black philosophy, black strategy, because when you play the King's Indian defense, let's be honest, you would like to attack, you would like to play there, you would like to play f5, you would like to attack in the enemy king side, right? You would like to attack, to do something there. But after the exchange variation, indeed you can equalize according to the computer, but it's not on your nature, because he's going to play there, he's going to exchange queens, you're not going to lose this pawn on e5, but it's a very practical system for the white pieces to play, and you don't have the queen. You need to improve your general understanding and play this move actually very nicely with the black pieces. You need to improve your position and your end game skills. I like another system here. I'm not going to mention the name, but I'm going to show you the moves. Maybe you can learn it or you recognize it. The system is with the bishop on g5 and with the pawn on c3 and with the knight on d2, a different system. I like to play the system with the white pieces and I managed to win a lot of games there. But this d takes c5 has some venom and you need to be careful. You need to be careful, and you are defending in this one. You need to play accurately here. And another system, last but not least, it is a system that I really like. It is one of the best systems here with the white pieces. I managed to make some classes, some lessons with Grandmaster Stelios Chalkias. He helped me a lot to understand this system. I'm not going to tell you everything about this actually because it's not the point. I don't like to say just copy Stelios ideas. You can ask Stelios directly to make some lessons with Stelios actually to explain you everything there, but this is one of the most beautiful systems there to play with the white pieces because you are keeping the tension. It's very important to keep the tensions in any position, and positionally and tactically it's a very sound system to play like this. And the idea is to put the knight there later, or to do what you're going to do with this pawn you're going to see later, or you are expecting here black to capture and you can take with the knight and you have very nicely all of your pieces ready. This is some sublines that white can choose after the move e5, and the main of course is the move castling. He's going to play this castling here and we can press him. Knight c6 is the main line, or we can choose other system. The modern system is knight to a6. This is the modern variation, knight a6, because we are keeping open this one, and if white chooses to close the system, the knight can jump immediately there on c5. Different system. I have a very nice game that I'm going to show you here. It's Aronian Theodorou, Nicolas Theodorou from Greece. They played in Olympiad in India 2022, and very interesting system how to play. We have the rat defense here, knight on d7, very close to the modern defense. The idea is not to exchange queens after this variation. You can play around this with these moves actually, or we have another system that I really like a lot. This is a Gleck system. We can take there and say I'm going to open up my bishop and I'm going to attack this pawn there on e4. Another very interesting system. However, the main line is knight to c6 because again we have the main idea. We're going to say I'm attacking on d4. These are my main strategy and I'd like you to do something against this pawn, with this pawn on d4. And usually here white is pressing, and after knight d7 we have three options here, three different ways for white to handle the position. One of them is bayonet attack. Kramnik used to play a lot about this one. Maybe Kasparov stopped playing the King's Indian defense after the move b4. It's one of the lines. We have the classical line, knight e1, and here white is going to play something like this, king here, bishop there, putting the bishops backward. And Kortsnoy, if you used to play with Kortsnoy, a legendary player, he played for the World Chess Championship match. He was runner-up actually with Karpov, very strong player. And if you play the King's Indian defense, he's going to look you, what are you going to play? This one? The King's Indian defense against me? Are you serious? I'm going to win. And he managed to win a lot of brilliant games with this setup actually, and attacking in the other way of the board, the classical way to play the King's Indian defense. Or we have the modern way, knight on d2, and white is preparing this attack and the knight is going here on c4. So this is the introduction actually about the King's Indian defense. I hope you enjoyed this one. We're going to see a lot of other interesting variations, but this was a very important video in order to understand how we are separating the different lines and what you are going to see. So I have a detailed article on my website. You can go there, you can read the article, and of course I have a chess course about the King's Indian defense in which you can go deeper and deeper, deep dive against the King's Indian defense. Thank you very much and talk to you soon. So, why you should become a member? This is an amazing opportunity to you to support the channel and gain access to exclusive perks. Well, it's not just about supporting the channel, it's about becoming part of the exclusive community. You'll be helping me to continue creating the content you love, and in return you get some fantastic benefits. We have 3 membership levels tolerated fit everyone needs: the gold, the diamond and the platinum. Join us as a member is a great way to interact with me directly. You will get loyalty badges next to your name in comments, access to custom emojis and special discounts. I prioritize replies to members. Access exclusive videos available only for members to enhance your chess skills. The time to improve is now. On the Platinum membership plan you will get a chess course for free. So what you are waiting for? Click the join button to become a member today. Let's take this journey together to the next level and unlock these amazing perks.